All right, got some box of Rock Auto parts for the Maverick. I think last week I ordered the front wheel bearings and brakes for the Maverick. So I'm gonna rip these open, see if it's what I think it is, then rip the Maverick apart and see if that is what I think it is. Hopefully they match up. Hopefully they're all the same and they just go right on. And then I have awesome new brakes and wheel bearings. Right, got pair of bearings, pair of seals, pair of other bearings, ball nuts and washers, rotor, which has, I think the bearing seats. I think the bearing seat in there. That bearing is very small, so I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna fit, but hopefully it'll be clear when I take it apart. And these also have new studs. Second rotor. Did I say rotor?
No.
Rotor in there. All right. Well, now that we have parts, put it back together, I'm gonna pull the driver's side apart actually this time and see what we got working with under there. All right, if you were a brake caliper, how would you come off? All right, well, I've never seen bolted quite like that. It had a bolt in the side here, which you can definitely see in the side here, and then one in the back here, which is kind of normal. So I got that hanging there. Look at me, so professional. Hanging it, smart. So we get this nut off the front. I was wondering, I'm looking for a big enough wrench for that. And then I bumped it with the thing, and oh, look at that. It's only finger tight, which seems like it should probably be a little tighter than finger tight, but no, it should definitely be tighter than finger tight. Which that might account for, I meant to check the play on the wheel before I took it off again, because I always considered to do that, but see if there's a lot of play, because there's a lot of drift in the steering. You're like rolling into curves, and you go, what? Which might be these being loose, so we'll see. All right, well, got it off here. Inner bearing, outer bearing was there, which then is here, so it's a little guy, so that makes sense. So it goes on the tip of the little shaft. I don't know how this doesn't leak grease out normally, because it was leaking out the front, because there only appears to be this rear seal here, based on Rock Auto's catalog. And this also confirms that, because there was no other one. And let's see, discs look like they're the same size. Believable, believably the same. Alright, well, I'm gonna see if I can press in the new bearings and such into there. Clean up this guy. So this is the spindle, I guess you'd call it, which is gooped in grease, which I should also clean up. So bearing race runs there, and then the inner one runs here, outer one runs here, and there's just a void between, I guess. And then the bolt holds it on there, and there's a foam guy there. So I'll leave that clean up, looks easy peasy, and I have all of the bearings and stuff, so I'll probably, I don't know, I'll have to see if the rear one presses in or not. It probably does, because the seal is pressed in, but the front just sat in there, so that's easy enough. But fortunately for me, if I need to press it in, gotta press. Well, the rear one came with a race, but there's a race in here already, and that looks to flow in there pretty nicely, so that's about right. I might pull the seal on the other guy, see what it looks like, but I need to pack this with grease. It's gonna be gross. And then, yeah, and then this just floats in here then, so I don't need to press it, but I will need to tap in the seal. All right, looks like the little one also had a race, but that also fits in there, so wear gloves to do this packing. The way I know how to do it is you just goop it and scoop it in by your hand, by the palm of your hand, which makes a mess. So I'm gonna do smart or not better. Gloves. Definitely did not just get some in my mouth. But got the little one prepped for going in the front. Got the bigger one in there. Tapping a seal. Okay, I got those bearings greased and prepped. Got that seal in. And I'm gonna pull the brake shoes and see how hard those are to get out. The brakes didn't really seem like they've been working super well, so I wanted to make sure that this piston was working. So I'm gonna pushing the brake out, and I have this wedge in there so it'll let it go but not pop all the way out, like we did on the GMC, and make sure it's worked out, and then work it back and forth a couple ways, because these pads look like brand new, so I kind of suspect that they weren't moving and engaging is my guess, but also I guess may not have that many miles on it. All right, got that all kind of cleaned up, got the grease off. I'm gonna grease it up with the fresh grease on the slidey bits, and then glue the backs of the pads to the sticky bits. All right, well, that took a while, but I think I got it done. The interwebs was not super helpful, but I snugged down the bolt while spinning it until I kind of felt the bearings bind up, tightened it down, backed it off, tightened it down a couple times to kind of try to seat the bearings, make sure that the disc was spinning on the brakes well, because the brakes are kind of a little low grabby now that they're tight, but it still spins. I'm hoping that the brakes will wear down. You can kind of hear it rubbing, but look at that, so shiny, so pretty. Shiny new bolts, shiny new disc, shiny new pads. Yeah, so I'm hoping that will feel real nice now, and once I get the other side, I can test out the brakes and test out how they roll. Theoretically, should be a lot quieter. Although now that I said, the grease looked real bad on the old ones, but they didn't. Well, I guess I didn't really look at the inside one. But they sure sounded bad, and they're like very droning. So I think. Well, spins pretty nice. So it feels pretty solid. I think bearings, you should be able to feel up and down, side to side. But it's pretty tight. Torque those bolts down. Lower neck. Chumped up the old seal, which was not working very well. And the old bearing, it's very goopy. That's gross. Grody. Let's see if I haven't seen any bad spots. No. Nothing looks too crazy. You can see scratches on there. They're definitely worn, and the grease is super old, and the seal is obviously leaking. But nothing's missing or super obvious. I mean, they don't seem particularly floppy, and it rolled smoothly. So I don't know. I guess we'll see if it's a lot quieter, or maybe the other side's worse. All right, it is a sunny day. And I'm gonna go get in on the passenger side and get these brakes replaced and bearings. Should be faster this time because now I know how to do it. I'm not gonna be as slow Nelly. Get these knocked out real quick and then get back outside and do more yard work. Right, this time I'm gonna listen. I think that might be the brakes dragging, maybe the bearings. And then I also just gave it a little wiggle. There's a little bit of in and out all the way around. So that, I think that's the bearings. So we'll see if that gets tightened up. Also see how tight the nut is, because if the nut's loose, that could just need to get tightened in. But just get new bearings in here. These look sad and old and they're leaky, so Although there's no seal in front, which I think I mentioned before, but I'm not clear how it's not going to leak out the front bearing. Alright, got the caps off and the thing, wheel. That thing. I remember. I can word. But nice and greasy in here too, so that's exciting. Real goopy schloopy in there. Yeah, so we'll see how tight that nut is. Well, looks like this one is also finger tight. So that seems too loose to me. So I'm gonna do what I did on the other side and put it back on a little tighter than that. But I guess as the bearing races, either the races or the bearings themselves wear down, I guess you get a little bit of slop. So then it would be looser. Alright, well, got the brakes cleaned up and out of there. The pads, again, look quite thick. Fairly new, but I suspect they weren't doing a very good job. The calipers are smooth, but I'm going to clean those up pretty good. I'm going to work the piston in and out a little bit and push it back and forth. Got this cleaned up. Dirty. Leaking out the back, and it had some sparklies in there too, so that seems a little bit good news to get fixed up. It's conveniently, this fits right in the recess where the pad goes, so just leaving this in here notched down, pumping the brakes to push the piston out, and then I can ratchet this down and squeeze the piston back down and working, and it's getting easier to go back and forth. This is the fourth time I've done it. I might do it one more and all good. Don't need brakes yet, but we'll get the seal, your rotor, grease. Time to get greasy again. Got the new seal in, bearing in. This is all cleaned up. Brakes are cleaned up, ready for pads, shoes. Pads. Shoes or drones. Yeah. New bolt kit, and yeah, get it up. Alright, got that guy back on. My phone died, so, here we are. All back on. Tested the brakes out a little bit. They kind of grab, but we'll see if they free up. No more wobbly when I wobble the wheel back and forth, so that's good. And, yeah, I also pulled the clampies on the exhaust down pipe right there to see if I could readjust that better. I don't think it really went on any different, so I don't think that's going to help. Because I think the ticking noise that I'm hearing now is still exhaust, but it's quieter. I don't know. So I was looking for pinhole leaks down in the exhaust going down there, but I don't see anything. So we'll see. But I'm going to fire it up, take it around the loop, see how... I said it didn't make a difference, but it does seem quieter. So maybe I got that little gasket thing back up in there better. Although now I hear it, so maybe I did. Anyway, what a beautiful day. I think the whirring noise that I assumed was from the wheel bearings is gone. I think it's quite loud.